Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Officer Noah, and today we're going to be going over a subject called build and maintain. So just briefly to explain the class is we're going to have to build ourselves up in the spirit and maintain ourselves in that spirit. But in between that, things are going to happen to us that's going to cause us to either get lazy, get slothful, or just altogether fall off. So building and maintaining all that's in between is very important. So what we're going to start with is Matthew chapter 9, verse 37. Go ahead and read that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 9 and verse 37.
Uh-huh.
Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
So Christ is saying that there's a lot of people amongst us in the body, but the people actually laboring is few. Read on.
Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
So the first thing that we're going to have to do is pray that he send in more laborers, because that's going to be very important to the building of this body. Go to 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. Because now that you heard this truth, you're in the body, you got to be able to maintain that spirit. Because a lot of us will get in here and we'll get complacent in the things that we learn and be like, oh, the next person got it, the next sister got it. But read that, 1 Peter 2 and 2.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word.
You got to be on fire like the first time you heard that you were an Israelite. You got to want to do the work like the first time you heard this, and you was willing to do any and everything to make sure that the kingdom come. Read.
That ye may grow thereby.
So you can grow. Read.
If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious. To whom coming as unto a living stone.
Read that again.
To whom coming as unto a living stone. Disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious.
Read on.
Ye also as lively stones.
So you also are as lively stones. Read.
Are built up a spiritual house.
You are built up a spiritual house. Read.
And holy priesthood. To offer up spiritual sacrifice. Acceptable to God by Jesus Christ.
Read on.
Wherefore it is contained in the scriptures. Behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone. Elect, precious. And he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
So if you believe on the chief cornerstone, which is Christ, you're not going to be confounded. You're not going to get complacent. You're not going to start to decay in this truth. Read on to verse 8.
Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, be unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders are disallowed. The same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
And that's where a lot of people get caught up, is because you're disobedient, and you stumble at the word. You don't understand what you read. You don't know how to carry it out. So here, this is the start of decay. You become that stumbling block. Go to 1 Corinthians 3. And verse 9. We all got a part to play in this, and we all have to play our part according to as it's giving to us. Don't try to take another man's position because you see that he's in the spotlight. You got to play your role in what the Most High God is giving you. Read 1 Corinthians 3 and 9.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9. For we are laborers together with God.
We are all laborers together with God. Read.
Ye are God's husbandry. Ye are God's building.
We are God's building. Read.
According to the grace of God which is given unto me. As a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation.
So Paul is saying, as a wise master building, I have laid the foundation, meaning he went out and did what he was told to do. Christ gave him the word, and he went out and preached it to the Gentiles. He went from place to place to place to place, tirelessly, in a whole bunch of different troubles and perils to make sure what he was given to the people. Read.
As a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. So
when he laid the foundation, there's another one to watch over that flock, to teach them, to give them the things that they need and the understanding so they can grow and become builders themselves. Read.
But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon.
Watch for your souls. What are you actually building on? Are you building on for rank? Are you building on just so you can have a name to be the greatest rapper in Israel? What are you really building your spirit up for? It should be for the kingdom, not just for some name in the world. It should be that Christ is going to say, this is the person that did everything he could building this nation up to the kingdom of heaven. Read.
For other foundation can no man lay, then that is laid, which is Jesus Christ.
So Christ laid the foundation. He gave us what to do, what to say, and how to do it, and who to tell it to. There's no other foundation to be laid. You can't reanimate yourself, remake yourself into something so men follow you and not Christ. Read.
Now if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest.
So it doesn't matter what your position is, whether you were the one that was laying down the gold, the silver, the precious stone, or even if you was the person with the wood, hay, or stubble. Listen, your part is going to be played, and the Most High is going to see your works, and it's going to be given to you, the fruits thereof. Read.
Every man's work shall be made manifest. For the day shall declare it. Because it shall be revealed by fire.
And that means that literal fire, that nuclear fire, about trial and tribulation as well. Read.
And the fire shall try every man's work, what sort it is.
Read on.
If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
So if whatever you do in this truth, Most High is going to see it, whether it's good or evil, whether it doesn't get seen by the public, whether you're in the background doing everything, making sure everything in the front lines is taken care of, the Most High is going to award you with what you've done. Read.
If any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss.
So you're going to suffer loss if in this trial or tribulation, your works are undiscovered. They get messed up. They don't get put out. The Most High know what you did. You're going to suffer that loss. But
he himself shall be saved.
The Most High is going to award you because he sees what you do, even if a man don't see what you're doing. The Most High sees it. Read.
Yet so as by fire.
Read on.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
You are the building of God. You are the temple of God. Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
Read on.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
So if you start falling off or discouraged or lazy or any of those attributes, the Most High is going to destroy you. Read.
For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
Read on.
Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world.
So if you seem like you're a wise person, you got it all together, you're a great teacher, you're a great reader, people respect you in the streets because you bring this gospel out according to the Bible, but back at the house, you don't keep not nan commandment. You lazy, you don't do nothing but be a good teacher, but make rap music, but go to work and show up at the Sabbath, and you not putting in any extra works. Most High gonna see it. Read that again.
Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool.
Humble yourself. Read.
That he may be wise.
So then you can become wise. Go to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 19. We're still on the subject of building, what it means to be built, and the scriptures that's used in the building process. Read.
Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 19.
You're going to read this to 22. Go ahead.
Now therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners.
Because we were strangers and foreigners. He's talking about the Gentiles, but that falls on us as well. We didn't know this gospel. We didn't know that we had to keep God's commandments. And we didn't know that we were the Israelites. But now, read.
But fellow citizens with the saints.
Now we know that we're the people in the book. Read.
And of the household of God.
That we are the temple of God. Read.
And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets. And Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone.
So Christ being the chief cornerstone, we were all built off of this foundation. And it's our job now to carry that torch to continue building on what the prophets said, back in the time of Moses, all the way up until the prophets of like Paul and Peter, all the way up into those points. We're still building off of what they laid down for us. Read.
In whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto a holy temple in the Lord.
Bishop Kanai was going over this on how the temple was fitted perfectly. You didn't have to cut nothing. It was put together like a piece of, like a puzzle. That's how we're supposed to be fit together in our building. Read.
In whom you also are builded together for a habitation of God through the Spirit.
That was it?
Yes, sir.
John 6:63. Give me John 6:63. Because it said, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of God through the Spirit. So what's the Spirit that's going to build us up? Read.
John chapter 6 and verse 63. It is the Spirit that quickeneth.
So it's the Spirit that makes you that lively stone. Read.
The flesh profiteth nothing.
That's this flesh that thinks that it can do and be whatever it wants to be without the power of God, without the mercies of God. Read.
The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
So that's the foundation that the prophets and the saints put into this Bible for us to be made alive. Read.
But there are some of you that believe not.
And it's some of us, even amongst us, that don't believe that this is what's going to make us alive. That next paycheck, that fame, that fortune, or that next rank is what we think is going to make us alive. No, it's solely your works and keeping the commandments that's going to keep you alive. Read.
For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were that believed not.
And that applies to this time. He's talking about Judas the Iscariot, but that even applies to this time. He already know who's going to keep these commandments and who's not. It's for us to figure it out, to go through these things, to say, listen, I guess I wasn't worthy. I guess I'd rather be in the world. I guess I'd rather be doing these things because I don't believe those Bible things enough to continue to do it. I'm suffering too much. Most High ain't been looking out for me. Read.
And who should betray him? And he said, therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me except it were given unto him of my Father.
So go to Jude chapter 1 and verse 20. There's another point. I think it's Isaiah 30 I wanted. Isaiah. Give me Isaiah 30. No, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that right there. Go ahead, give me the Jude when we actually start getting into the perils. Jude chapter 1 and 20.
The book of Jude, verse 20. But ye beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith. So the first thing you got to do is you got to build up your faith. And doing that, you got to congregate. You got to study. You got to meditate on the scriptures. You got to examine your life and compare it to what's going on in the scriptures and say, am I handling this situation right? Did I do this according to the law? Did I mess up according to the law? Read that again. But ye beloved, building up yourselves on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Ghost, keep yourselves in the love of God.
We know that the love of God is the law. Read. The doing of the law. Read.
Looking for the mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ unto eternal life.
Read.
And of some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire.
So some you're going to have compassion on because of that ignorance is bound in them, that you're going to have to weaken ignorance until they grow their maturity in this truth. But others, you really going to have to get on them and pull them out that fire. Read.
Hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. Now unto him that is able.
Stop right there and go to Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 18. I got some examples here in a minute on stress tests. The first one that I want, I sent a link on the definition of stress tests, not the YouTubes yet. If I didn't send it, let me know. I'll send it now. Yeah, I did. It's that dictionary, apa.org. Yeah, that's the, make it big so he can see it when it's time to read it. Go ahead on Sirach chapter 40 and verse 18.
Sirach chapter 40 and verse 18. To labor and to be content with that a man hath.
So that's one of the struggles that we have, because We was like, man, I make more money on the weekends if I work on Saturdays. I know the new moon is coming up, and I don't even want to ask them for a day off because that's going to hurt my pockets. Read that again.
To labor and to be content with that a man hath.
So the struggle becomes, am I being content with what I have? Do I need more? Do I need to make more money? Well, the question is, what are you actually doing with your money? What are you doing with your time that you're not content? Read it again.
To labor and to be content with that a man hath.
This is where the humility comes in, to where you got to understand, am I being content with what I have, with what I've given? Or is it something more that I need to do and not break the law in doing it? Read.
To labor and to be content with that a man hath is a sweet life.
Uh-huh.
But he that findeth a treasure is above them both.
Read on.
Children and the building of a city continue a man's name.
So it's telling you other ways to build up your name. And children and the building of a city continue a man's name. Read on.
But a blameless wife is counted above them both.
And you got to have a wife that has the same mind as you, that wants to build with you in these things. Go to Jeremiah chapter 29 and verse 4. It's going to tell you who he's talking to and the time that he's talking to us about these things as far as building. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 29 and verse 4. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive.
So it's speaking to the Israelites that were carried away captive. We're those same Israelites carried away captive in a different time. Read.
Whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon.
So he's speaking in the time of the ancient Babylon, but we know that this is Babylon the Great. The same thing applies because the prophets and the saints of old time, that's where our foundation was built on. So the advice they were giving us back then applies now. Read.
Build ye houses.
So it's saying build houses. Read.
And dwell in them.
Uh-huh.
And plant gardens.
Uh-huh.
And eat the fruit of them.
So that takes work to do all of those things, to build these houses, to maintain living in the houses that you built, to plant gardens and eat the fruit thereof. Read.
Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished.
So the Most High is saying he don't want us to be diminished. So these parts of building are necessary to build families, generations after us. Go to read to verse 7, and then we're going to go to Proverbs 13.
Verse 7. And seek the peace of the city.
Uh-huh. So in that, it's saying seek the peace of the city, meaning that you have to know how to get along in the city that you're living in. Read that again.
And seek the peace of the city.
Uh-huh.
Whether I have caused you to be carried away captive.
So that's here in America. Here in America, there's all different types of laws that are advert to the ones that are in Africa or Europe or down in the islands, South America. They're different. So in the various captivities that we're placed in, we got to know how to dwell in those cities and seek peace. We don't want to have all this controversy towards people that look at us as a hate group already or a cult. Read.
And pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace.
So, and it's also saying pray for this peace in your own city. You want your people around you to see you as a peacekeeper, as a person that's a law-abiding citizen on as it pertains to the Bible and as it pertains to the city laws. Read.
For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel.
That was it. Proverbs 13. Proverbs 13:22. So in this building and getting peace, you want to have a good name within the place that you're at. Because if they see that you're a peaceful man, it's going to intrigue them on what you're learning. What made you this peaceful, successful man to where you can generate peaceful and successful children? Read Proverbs 13:22.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children.
So a good man is going to leave an inheritance to his children's children. That's what the prophets did for us. And that inheritance, it started way back with Adam and it went all the way up into Moses to getting this Bible into our hands today. Read.
And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
Sirach 33 and 17. Sirach chapter 33 and 17. Because a lot of times we don't think that, we as black folks, we do not think that far ahead. We think maybe about 15, maybe 2 days, maybe I give a week. We think a week ahead of how we going to get things done, and then rent comes up. It's like, dang, man, I didn't think about that, man. I took 2 days off work. I don't know what I'm going to do. But a good man, he's going to be thinking about his children's children's children to make sure that they're set. Because me, myself, I don't want my kids to struggle in the ways that I struggle. I want them to have more. But I also want them to understand the importance of working for their children's children as well, and not just for themselves. Read that.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 17. Consider that I labored not for myself only.
So we're not doing this for ourselves only. It's for the people that's without. It's for the generations that haven't come, because they're going to see our example and build on that example, just like we're still building off of Paul's example. Read.
But for all them that seek learning.
So we're doing this for all of them that seek learning. Now, here's where the trouble comes. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. Because in doing all of this, you have to set yourself in order. You have to set your household in order. So then you can start to get the people in order. Read that.
2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13.
You're going to read it till 17.
Now therefore, set thine house in order.
So now therefore, set your house in order. Start getting everybody's goals and agendas together on how they're supposed to keep the commandments, what they need to do from day to day to keep them motivated, maintaining their life. Read.
And reprove thy people.
And after that, correct your people. Show your people the things that you've learned. Read.
Comfort such of them as be in trouble.
Let them know, like, hey, listen, I was at where you was at. This is how you do it. Read.
And now renounce corruption.
And it's teaching how to renounce corruption, how to rid ourselves of evil thoughts, evil ways, slothfulness, laziness. Read.
Let go from thee mortal thoughts.
Because the things that we deal with, they are mortal thoughts. The things that we don't have, the things that we do want, the things that we lust after, it's all mortal lust. Read.
Cast away the burdens of man.
These are the burdens of man. When we have a whole kingdom that's waiting for us. Read.
Put off now the weak nature.
It's a weak nature that we have here to lust after this, man. I'm waiting on that PlayStation to go down, man. Man, I'm gonna get all my money together to buy that PlayStation, man. When the next 2K coming out. That's what our hope is in. When the next game console coming out. When they gonna update it. When the next iPhone coming out. These are mortal thoughts. And then we burden ourselves trying to make enough money or get enough our bills off our back so we can have so-called fun. Read. Not saying that we can't have fun, because we can, but it burdens us when we can't. Read.
Verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee.
So the Bible says, set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. You got to be thinking further past these times. This is what's going to keep you motivated, because these times are not going to stop. They're going to get harder, as a matter of fact. Read.
And haste thee to flee from these times.
So you got to be preparing your mind of, this is my out game. This is how I plan to get things going, so I'm not struggling like this, so I can focus on the greater things. Read.
For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter.
So greater evils are rising. Week after week, legislation bill after legislation bill. I can't even say it. Legislation. I still can't say it. Wait, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without stuttering. The legislators, they passing bills to make times harder. They're crashing the economy and things of this nature. And we're going to get off into that, matter of fact. After we finish that verse, read this again. I'm going to show you what I mean by by times are getting harder. Read.
For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more that more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein.
So evils are going to increase, then the world is getting weaker. So what we have here is called stress tests. Read 1 through 3. Can you see them?
Yes.
So it's going to explain what a stress test is, and I'm going to explain how it applies in an economy, in a work field. Read.
Stress test. Number 1, an examination or evaluation designed to ascertain an individual's capacity to perform a relative complex task
Relatively
complex task under purposefully stressful conditions.
So you're giving small, complex tasks to see how well your mind can ascertain doing this and succeeding in it. Read.
2, a medical evaluation designed to assess the effects of stress, typically induced by physical exercise on a cardiac function.
So in this example, they'll hook up like little wires to your chest, put you on a treadmill, and see what certain speeds does to the heart, to the lungs, to the mind, just to do a test to see how much your body can withstand in physical exertion. Is that what it's called? Yeah, go ahead.
The most common of such procedures is a test in which the patient walks or runs on a treadmill while cardiac, respiratory, or other physiological processes are monitored.
Read.
3, in multidimensional scaling, a measure that indicates the reliability or goodness of fit of the solution. Stress tests also are used to determine the number of dimensions to be included in the scaling solution.
So it's pretty much a think tank of people that say, hey, listen, we want to implement this and we want to see how well it works in society or work group or a group of people to see what it's going to do to them, see the effects that's going to happen to them under these certain conditions. Give me the first one with the, that one, the private military contractor stress test. So in this stress test, he has to be able to perform under the variations of stress that's given to him, as far as like if there's gunfire, if he has to retreat, if he's distracted in any type of way that's not common. Like it could happen. What ifs? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So it's like a what if thing. What if this happened in the field when you're simply doing one task and this happened? So it's a bunch of what ifs that he's physically going to do to this person that's going to test to see if he's good enough for the job or not. Go ahead and push play on that.
One more! Load your gun! Load your gun! Load your gun! Load your gun! Get ready, fire! Get ready, fire! Fire your gun! Fire your fucking gun! Fire your gun! Go back! Go back! Drop from here! 5 push-ups! Go back to me! Go back! Go back! Go back! Go back here! Come! Leave it! Come to me! 5 push-ups! 5 push-ups! 5 push-ups! Come on! You got 2 left! 2 push-ups! Come on! 1 more! Come on! Come on! Fix your gun! Fix your gun! Do it! Do it! Fix your gun! Fix your gun! Fix your gun! Where's your magazine? You're gonna go! Shoot your target! Firing! Out! Forward! 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 Up! Forward! Forward! Push up! Down! Push up! Down! Push up! 3 more! Come on! Come on! 3 more! 2 more! Come on! Come on! Load! Load! You're gonna die! Load your gun! Load your fucking gun! Load your gun! Shoot fire!
So read 1 Peter chapter 4 and 12.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial.
So don't think it's strange, because those distractions, they're going to happen. Like we saw in the stress test video, to where he was given so many commands that you would think that his mind was like, listen, I quit. I don't know what to do. He would shut down. And that's what we do in this truth. We'll shut down for a moment. It's like, listen, I can't do this. You're asking me to do too many things. And we'll just shut down or produce the bare minimum. And that's not part of building and maintaining. We got to continue to go. Read that again.
Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you.
Because these fiery trials, these stress tests, these are the things that's supposed to try you. This is going to make you better. Because a lot of times we will ask the Most High for something like patience. We'll go to our little spot, man. It'll be hard on us. We'll be stressed out. We'll be like, listen, man, I need to go send up prayers. Man, dear Lord, help me with patience. And we want to put that thing on like it's a superpower. Like we pray for it, we ask for it, and boom, I have all the patience in the world. It don't happen like that. You're going to get tried. Your kids are going to try you. It's like you on demon mode. I told you to sit down 3 times, and now you making me have to do something to you. Now I'm finna cuss your little behind out. That's your patience being tried. That's what you ask for. You ask for that fire to be turned up. So when you pray, be cautious on what you asking for. Is that what you really want? Because the Most High going to turn that flame up on you. Because that's the only way we as a people going to learn. We're hard-headed and rebellious. How else are we going to learn by not actually going through it? Read that again, the whole thing.
Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you.
Because these things are supposed to try you to make you stronger. You got to see that it's for your benefit and not for your destruction, and not shut down when it happens to you. Read.
As though some strange thing happened unto you.
Strange things are going to happen. I tell you, like, listen, I never really injured myself, but I burned myself trying to seal these Mylar bags. And I'm like, that's strange to me, because I never really injured myself like that. But that was like, then it was like a series of events to where little minute stuff kept happening to me, to where it's like, I think I'm being tried on a low level. I think I'm being tried. And my first mind was like, you know what? Because this happened, I ain't gonna go to Feast of Tabernacles. I'm gonna just keep it here in Oklahoma. I ain't finna even go to Alabama where I had it all set up. I'm just keep it here. But I'm like, that's foolish. It's already set up. The situation is what it is. Figure it out now. Go to Feast of Tabernacles and just bear with it, because what's gonna change? Nothing. Read.
But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings.
I could be an Edomite. I could be Ishmael. So rejoice in that the Most High is dealing with us, dealing with you in the manner that he's dealing with you. Read.
That when his glory shall be revealed.
So when it's time to get the kingdom of heaven, when those blessings and those crowns start to be passed out, you're a part of that. Read.
Ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Now you're going to be happy that you stuck it out. Read.
If ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye.
If people are on you because you believe in Christ, be happy. If they cause certain adversity against you because you believe in Christ, be happy. Read.
For the spirit of glory and of God rested upon you. On their past, he is evil.
Read that again. On their part?
On their part, he is evil spoken of. But on your part, he is glorified.
So with them, like, why you go through all of that for some book? Why are you doing all of that for some book, for those people? I'm your family. I'm your friend. Why you go through all of that for those people? I wouldn't treat you like that. Listen, it is your glory that you going through this, because you understand. They don't understand. Now, give me this second stress test. This is a firefighter. A lot of us in this first scene, scale it. Is this where it starts? Yeah, you scale it back to the beginning. The hole right there. So a lot of us in this amount of gear It's heavy. It's uncomfortable. It's like it don't give you enough give to be able to do what you're supposed to do. But you got to wear, this is the uniform. And now you got to squeeze in this uncomfortable uniform into a tight place. Go. In this, they blacked out his mask so he can't see to simulate what it's like in a burning building. There ain't no lights in a burning building, but flames. And you got to slide through these tight places to rescue somebody that you don't even know. That's what we're going through here in this truth. We're going through uncomfortable conditions to save people that we don't even know for the glory of God. Read. And some of them hate us. Read. Not read, play. So go ahead, hold that. So imagine going through all of that, where you have to do all of these things in a hostile environment and still expect it to succeed, save people and yourself. And you looking at it like, for what? If I don't go through none of this, I'm a die anyway. So a lot of us be like, look, I'm going to die anyway. Why do all of this? Is how you die is the question. You are at, what was the last thing you read?
1 Peter 4 and verse 14.
Go to Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. So it's how you die, and these are the things that you need to consider. These are the things that you need to have on your mind in considering what you're actually in for, because you can't change the fact that you're an Israelite. The consequences are going to be the same. Read.
Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure.
So the scriptures is telling us in this building and maintaining, we have to constantly endure these fiery trials because temptations are going to come. And brothers be thinking because they married that they're going to be safe from lust. Women don't stop looking, they don't stop looking good. The generations never get old. There's going to be a new 20-year-old, there's going to be a new 18-year-old that look better than your aging wife. And she might have the same mind as you, like, he getting old. I want me a young man. Listen, these fiery trials don't stop just because you level up. It's up to you to be able to maintain what you're given. Read.
And constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
Don't be quick to make decisions when it's your turn to be tried. Because in those quick decisions, you might destroy the whole lesson that you were supposed to learn and have to start from scratch anyway. I've seen people that will have a plan together and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. But don't calculate that there's going to be unknown things happen to that plan or that goal, and you don't meet that goal in the time that you said you was going to do it. So now it's like, oh, now I'm stressed. Now forget the whole goal altogether. I'ma just maintain what I got. I ain't finna try to do nothing else. Because every time I try to build myself up, I get knocked down. I take 2 steps forward just to take 3 back. That's the mentality Negroes be having. And our forefathers is telling us that these are the things that we have to endure. We're going to have to keep going through it because it's going to make us better and better and better. Because now that you done seen that it happens this way, you're much more prepared for it to happen when you try this goal again or when you try it in a different place. Read.
Cleave unto him.
It says cleave unto him. This is the time where people start to separate themselves like, man, hey, listen, I'm getting sick. You know, I'm gonna stay home for the Sabbath. I'm gonna stay home for the Sabbath. Next Sabbath, you ain't like, you know what, man? I just ain't. I don't think I'm still up to par. but we just seen you chilling over here at what's he call it? It's like, nah, man, I don't want to be around all those types of people. You know, I still got that all up in here, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, next Sabbath, I'm going to be there next Sabbath. 3 Sabbaths done went by, and we still ain't heard from you at the Sabbath. Read on.
Cleave unto him.
So it's saying cleave unto him. Stay around the people that's going to keep you in the spirit, that's going to mold you and help you with the experiences that you're experiencing. To let you know, like, hey, listen, I've been where you've been. This is what you got to do. And actually take the advice. Read.
And depart not away.
It says don't separate yourself. Read.
That thy may be increased at thy last end.
So the Most High can bless you at the last end. Read.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
Take it cheerfully, because you could be an Edomite baby born into this world with no hope of having salvation and mercy of God. Read.
And be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
So when something happens to you, just be patient. Try to understand what you've done wrong or what you could have done to better yourself in a situation. It may be to shed light on somebody else that needs to be brought down low. You may have been moved out of the way to be saved. And here it is, you're like, man, forget it, man. Without my rank, I ain't this. I ain't going to do nothing, man. I'm just going to stay over here and they can have it because they did. No, just calm down and observe the things that's going on around you so you can better yourself. It's like, okay, that's a mistake that I made. I ain't going to make that mistake again. When and if I get raised back up, or my next goal, I'm going to put it like this instead of like this. Read.
For gold is tried in the fire.
Because we are gold, and gold itself is tried in the fire. It's a process to get pure gold, and you are pure gold, but you have to go through that process to see if you are actually that pure gold or stubble. Read.
And acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
And acceptable men are going to go through the furnace of adversity. Read.
Believe in him, and he will help thee.
If you really believe in this Bible, just like Christ was tried, he was put to death for crimes that he didn't even commit. It was our sins that he was put to death for, and he still went through it. And people was down, like, is he going to come back to life? He's dead. He came back to life, and he showed us the proof that this is what's going to happen to you, and after it happens to you, you're going to receive the same glory as me. That's what we're all waiting on. Read.
Believe in him, and he will help thee.
So if you believe in what Christ told us, he's going to help us. Read.
Order thy way aright.
It's going to order our way right. It's going to teach us how to do things right. It's going to keep us in the spirit. Read.
Order thy way aright and trust in him.
Read on.
Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy.
So if you believe in this gospel and this truth, wait for his mercy. Read.
And go not aside, lest ye fall.
Don't separate yourself, because that's when you're really going to fall. And you ain't going to recognize it at first or at all. Read.
Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him. And your reward shall not fail.
Read.
Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see. Did any ever trust in the Lord and was confounded?
So look at our forefathers back in the time of this Bible. Did any of their promises fail? Did they trust in God and God didn't give it to them? It may not have been right then and there, but it was given to them at the time that they needed. And they didn't even expect it. Like, listen, I'm all by myself. Who's going to help me build this kingdom back up? Well, Most High said, I got 1,000 men that you don't even know about, ready to do my will. Read.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
David is another prime example. David messed up, got himself together, and every time he called on the Most High, he delivered. This man was in war after war after war, and the Most High never failed him, and even increased him in those things. Even the men around him, when the town that they was living in with the Philistines got ransacked. They wife and their kids, they all got kidnapped. And the men was like, listen, we finna put you to death. This is your fault, David. But the Most High gave him a clear mind. He found his people, killed that whole village, slaughtered them day and night. day through night, went to war with them, and got everybody back. No one was harmed. And that's exactly what's going to happen to us in this captivity. Read.
Verse 11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy.
Because he loves us. Read.
Long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction.
So you got to believe that thing. Give me Isaiah chapter 30 and 20.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
So you're going to see your teachers. You're going to see what your teachers go through, and they're going to be able to expound on those things to help further you. Go to 2 Timothy 2 and verse 3. Let me get there with you. There was another scripture I wanted. I can't remember it off the top of my head, so we're just going to move on with it. 2 Timothy 2 and 3. Yep.
Yes. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness.
So Timothy is telling us to endure these hardships, these stress tests, these fiery trials. Read.
As a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
Because you are a soldier of Jesus Christ. Read.
No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life.
Put off the weak nature. Read.
That he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Because God chose us to be a soldier for his army. Read on to verse 6.
And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned except he strive lawfully. The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits.
So back in that verse 5, it says that, and if a man also strive for mastery, yet he is not crowned except he strive lawfully. He got to maintain himself in the spirit. He got to be studied up. He got to be prayed up. He got to be applying what he's reading to get this crown. Go to James chapter 1. James chapter 1 and verse 12.
James chapter 1 and verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
It says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, because we're always going to be distracted with things. It's up to you to keep your discipline to not be distracted. Read.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
So when you're tried in these fiery trials, and you've been proven like, hey, listen, he got it. This is his reward. Read.
Which the Lord hath promised to them that love him.
So you got to prove that you love Christ, that you're going to go through all of these distractions, these temptations, and not fall for it. Get Proverbs 25 and 28.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 25 and verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit.
If you let everything distract you, you like this. Read.
Is like a city that is broken down. And
you like a city that's broken down. If you can't control yourself, if you let everything distract you and throw you off task, you could never get the kingdom. You like a city that's broken down. And without what?
And without walls.
You have no defense. You have nothing to contain you, to keep you from looking over there when you're supposed to be focusing on this. I was talking to Officer Baruch the other day, and I'm having a conversation with him, and then my son, he's in this side of my ear talking about, oh, a squirrel. Hey, I'm like, listen, I know he's a kid, but it just made me think of how we are as adults, on how distracted we get. Because I think he was watching TV, he was playing a game or something, and he just looked out the window, and oh, a squirrel. I'm like, this man is easily distracted. He distracted me. I forgot what I was saying to Officer Baruch, but it made me laugh. Get Proverbs chapter 24 and 29. This is what happens when you start to let these distractions decay you. These are the things that's going on in your mind. These are the habits that happen to you. Proverbs 24, 29.
Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 29. Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his work. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
So this is the part that I want. I don't even know why I got that 29. I guess I wasn't paying attention. But verse 30, this is King Solomon saying that he was observing something, and he went by the field of a slothful man and seen that he had this parts to his land, and he was void of understanding. And this is why he was saying it. Read.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns.
So here it is. You have property that you're supposed to maintain. Here it is. This property that you have, it has a vineyard. You could be making wine. You could be selling the grapes to keep and pay somebody to keep this thing up for you. But this is why he was void of understanding. Read.
And lo, it was grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down.
So this man has property that he ain't taking care of. Read.
Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction.
So when Solomon thought about it, he received instructions. Read.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep.
And this is what it was talking about in Sirach and Ezra, talking about how you will fall away, start to fall away. Cleave unto the Most High and don't fall away. This is a person that's fallen away. It's like, listen, that's that mindset. I'll get it done tomorrow. I'll get it done next week. I'm going to get it done on this week. Instead of just going ahead and getting it done in the time that you have. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands. Now he's frustrated. Like, man, I'll just take me a little siesta. Read.
So shall thy poverty come.
So it says, so thy poverty shall come. Now you're not making an income to support that household. So now you can't get it done. One. Read. I was reading.
As one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
So now you have wants, and you can't even provide those things because you were being slothful. Go to chapter 21, verse 25.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 25. The desire of the slothful killeth him, for his hands refuse to labor.
And this is the same thing that happened to the man in verse 24. Here it is. You're going to go hungry because you ain't doing the things that you're supposed to do to keep up with your own health, with your own life. Go to Proverbs 19:15.
Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep.
So you're going to paralyze yourself being slothful. Here it is. You ain't done nothing that you said you were going to do, and now things ain't getting done. Now you complaining like, listen, I can't get it done because of this. Now you got all these excuses, and you blaming everything and everyone but yourself. Read on.
And an idle soul shall suffer hunger.
Because you didn't do what you were supposed to, now you're in poverty. Now you're suffering hunger. Now you're asking the next brother, the next family to take care of the things that you could have taken care of. Now you dragging another family down with your weight, your problems. Get Proverbs 6 and 4. You blaming everybody else, man. They don't teach me nothing. Well, when the last time you came up to the school? When the last time you asked any questions? Now you sleep. Now you void of understanding. Now you don't get the basics of scriptures. You can't bring it out in Deuteronomy 28. Read.
Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thine eyelids.
So it's not saying don't go to bed, don't take a nap. It's saying don't get complacent, don't get lazy. Read.
Deliver thyself as a roll from the hand of the hunter.
It's grind time. Things are getting worse in this economy. Things are getting worse. They're bringing out things to make it harder on us as Israelites. So the hustle is on. Read.
And as a bird from the hand of the fowler.
Uh-huh.
Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest.
Because with an ant, they know they only have a certain amount of time in the season to bust their hump to get enough food and shelter for the place that they're building, because they're going to die off and the next generation is going to have to carry that workload. We got to be thinking about that too. That's why it says you're not working for yourself, but for the generation after you, your kids' kids. That's how we should be busting our hump. Read on.
How long wilt thou sleep,
How long will you be lazy?
O sluggard?
How long will you be lazy? How long will you keep these excuses as to why you're not doing what you're supposed to do? If you're not happy in the position that you're in, what are you doing to grow? Read.
How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?
When will you stop making the excuses? When will you get off your hump and bust your hump? Read.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep.
A little siesta. Read.
So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth,
So now it is you falling further and further behind. Read.
and thy want as an armed man.
Go to Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 18. Because King Solomon ain't done bringing it out about slothfulness and how it starts to decay. And you being the building of Christ, this is your spirit decaying. Verse 18, go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 18. By much slothfulness the building decayeth.
And that's what he was explaining about the man that was void of understanding. He let his property go unattended to the fact to where it starts to decay. Read.
And through idleness of the hands,
Because you wasn't taking care of your business, read.
the house droppeth through.
Now it's starting to decay. That's what's happening to your spirit. Slowly but surely, here it is. You forgetting precepts. You don't know where this is. You don't know this breakdown. It's like, brother, you've been in the truth for like 7, 8 years. You should be a captain by now. You should be an officer of 50 by now. What are you doing with yourself? Read. And that was it. Proverbs 12:24. Proverbs chapter 12:24. And then from there, we're going to go to Baruch. We ain't got but a little bit left.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 24.
Uh-huh.
The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute.
And Baruch is going to explain that because it says the hand of the diligent shall bear rule. The people that's working and doing what they supposed to do, they on top. And then the people that's slothful, they at the bottom. Go to Baruch chapter 3 verse 8. This is what it means by that tribute.
Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Esau does his homework. He looks out years ahead of what he wants, and he works right now to get it. Us, we only think about next week, next paycheck, next rent time is due. We don't think years into the future to put ourselves together to get this thing done. Read.
Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments.
So we're subject to payment. That's where all these distractions come from, because we don't be having enough money for food, gas, and to do extra activities. So we trying to mix and match and pay, steal from Jimmy and to give it to John so we can do more things. But if we thought more ahead, it wouldn't be like that. Read.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God.
Uh-huh.
Hear, Israel, the commandments of life.
So the Bible is telling us to hear the Bible. It's speaking to the Israelites. It's telling us to hear the Bible, to hear the commandments of life. This is how we're going to get our life back. Read.
Give ear to understand wisdom.
Baruch 4 and 25.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from God.
So with all that being said, God is telling us to suffer patiently because he's mad at us, because we let our spirit decay. Read.
For thine enemy hath persecuted thee.
So now the persecution is on. Read.
But shortly thou shalt see the destruction.
And that's what our hope is in, that we're going to be rewarded for the works that we've been putting in to build this kingdom and to see our everything that this wicked nation has built up to be destroyed along with them. Read.
And shall tread upon his neck.
Uh-huh.
My delicate ones have gone rough ways.
We're the delicate ones that have gone rough ways. We chose these trials. Read.
And were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies.
Uh-huh.
Be of good comfort.
But God is telling us, be of good comfort. Though you being punished right now, take it cheerfully. Read.
Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto God. For ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you.
So the Most High is still telling us to cry out to him or to pray. Read.
For as it was your mind to go astray.
Because it was us who wanted to go the directions that we're going. That's why we're suffering the consequences thereof. Read.
So being returned, seek him 10 times more.
So that means that we got to go 10 times harder than what we've been doing. If you think you're doing the most, do more. If you think you're doing a little, well, get off your behind and get the work done. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 12. I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Y'all know how I am. Go ahead, 10 and 12.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 12. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall.
If you think you got it together, you still don't. You still got more to answer for. You still have more to learn. Read.
There hath no temptation taken you.
Oh, and with that, it said, lest he fall, you get comfortable and complacent, and you start to drift behind. Read.
There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
Every man on this earth has been going through the exact same thing. We just think that is new because things are updated, new technology. It's all the same types of distraction. It's just told in a different story, in a different way. Read.
But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able.
Most High is only going to turn that fire up as much as your spirit can handle it. Read.
But will with the temptation also make a way of escape.
So even with that temptation, there is always the righteous way to do it, whether it's to be patient, to have humility, or to just sit back and ask somebody questions or gathering yourself to see how people react in the same situation that you are in. The Most High is going to give you an answer. It's up to us to be able to see it. This story, I like this story where it was a hurricane coming. And the flood started to rise up, and the man said, I'm going to pray to God, and he's gonna send help for me. So somebody comes and say, hey, listen, we got a bus. Get on the bus. The waters is coming. He said, no, I prayed to God. He's going to help me. So bus says, all right, close the door, drove off. So the waters is rising now. And somebody on the boat says, hey, listen, the waters done rose up. I got a boat. I can fit you. Get in. He says, oh, no, I prayed to God. God is going to help me out. He's going to send somebody. God says, but the waters is rising. He said, no, I prayed to God. God is going to help me. So the boat, he drove off. Now he's on his roof. The waters is up. And helicopter comes. And the helicopter says, hey, listen, you're about the only one left in the city. Get on the helicopter. Here's the ladder. Get on. God says, hey, listen. God said he was going to send somebody. I sent up prayers. He's going to help me. So helicopter gone. Well, guess what? The man died because he didn't see that the Most High kept helping him and helping him and helping him, and he couldn't see it. That's the exact same thing that we do. We'll pray to the Most High for, like I said, patience. And then when our patience is tried, whether it be the woman, whether it be the brother in the truth with you, whether it's your best friend, your job, your kids, they all try you in a way like you got to be out your kid. You know I'm not the guy to be fooled with. Well, your patience is being tried. That's what you asked for. That's what the Most High is going to see what you do. Did you study what it meant to get patience? What's going to happen to the men that have patience? Because they tried the mess out of Moses, and he was the meekest of us all. And it was until his death that his patience got tried. And the Most High still said he was the meekest one of us. Where I got you at?
1 Corinthians 10, and I'm in verse 13, just a little bit more on that.
Go ahead.
But will with the temptation also make a way of escape, that ye may be able to bear it.
So the Most High is going to give us an escape. It might not be the most comfortable to our liking, or it might not have been enough, but it's a way to like, okay, I can take this little bit and take it further and pray to the Most High that he furthers that. That's how we got to think. Go to Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. Most High going to make a way for us to escape. We just got to have faith enough to actually see it and apply it. Matthew 7:24.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man.
So Christ is telling us, if you read this Bible, you see it, and you apply it, I'm going to like you unto a wise man. I'm going to see you as a wise man. Read.
Which built his house upon a rock.
You built your house on the structure that he built. Read.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house.
So when the trials and tribulations come to you, which is the house of God, you are the temple of God, these things are going to happen to you. Don't think it's strange. It's a natural thing that's supposed to happen to us. Read.
And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
Because you kept the commandments. You applied everything that you learned to keep yourself stable and maintained in this truth. Read.
And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man.
And if you don't do these things and you don't maintain yourself, you're going to be like a fool. Read.
Which built his house upon the sand.
Which built his house on the sand. Which didn't build his house on the Spirit of Christ that was written to us. Read.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
And that's what's happening to us. We see our people bugged out crazy because they not built on Christ. Give me Romans chapter 5, 3 through 5.
Romans chapter 5 and verse 3. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also.
So we glory in these tribulations because we know that it's going to make us stronger. It's going to teach us how to deal with bigger and badder situations that come. And we're going to succeed in it because we have experience. And it's going to say this. Read.
Knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
So through these trials and tribulations, now we're going to understand what it means to have and obtain patience. Read.
And patience, experience.
So now that you have the patience to deal with these trials, you also have experience now to tell the next person and to go through the things again and again that's going to happen. Read.
And experience hope.
Now when you add patience, experience, you get hope because now you know that I can go through this. It's not as hard as I made it. It actually gets easier. We start to see that, what do you call it? The light at the tunnel? Or the silver lining. Yeah, that's what I wanted. We start to see that silver lining because now we have hope because of all the things that we went through. Read.
And hope maketh not ashamed.
Now we're not going to be ashamed that we are the Israelites. This is our history. This is our inheritance. The curses, they fit us. I totally, humbly accept that this is who I am and this is what I got to go through to get to the kingdom of heaven because of what I've done. Read.
Because the love of God is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Ghost, which is given unto us.
Which is this word. Now, let's maintain all of these things. 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Because once you go over it over and over and over, some people get jaded. Some people get complacent. Some people are like, I've seen this story before. This is how it's going to play out. This is how it's going to play out. And then in the last end, it's going to be like this. So now that you get that experience, you like, I've seen this story before. I can go through this and this is how it's going to play out. And people be looking at you like, wow, you called it play by play and it happened like that. It's like, man, you a prophet. Yeah, because I read the scriptures. There's nothing new under the sun. We all going to go through trials. This spirit did this, which caused that spirit to do that. And I've seen it over and over. I have experience. Now I'm not ashamed at what Christ is telling me because he laid it all flat out for us. 2 Corinthians 13:5. 13:5.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves?
So you know yourself. You know what you deal with. You know your problems. So you know the areas that you need to study in to improve those things. You know what you need to pray for to get it off of you or to increase you. You got to examine yourselves to maintain this thing. Read.
Know ye not your own selves?
Do you not know your own self? Because if you don't, there's a scripture for you that's going to tell you about yourself and give you a choice whether you're going to do it or not. Because the result is either you're going to be blessed or you're going to be cursed and destroyed. Read.
How that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates.
Lest you be biblically dumb, ignorant, void of understanding. Christ is in you. 1 Peter 1 verse 13 and 14. If Christ is in you, you ain't gonna be reprobate. But if you don't accept these words, you're gonna be dumb. Read.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind.
So get your mind prepared, just like it was saying in the Apocrypha. Gird up your loins. Get your mind off that weak nature. Read.
Be sober and hope to the end.
So you got to be sober, and your focus got to be to that last end, that you want the kingdom. You don't want to die in this hellfire. You don't want to die in Babylon in the manner that it's going to burn up and crash. Read.
And hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. As obedient children.
So be an obedient child. When you're given examples of how to do this and how to do that, how not to fall in this way, you got to take those examples and apply it, no matter how uncomfortable you may think it is. It's some advice that Deacon Abiel gave me. It was like, I don't know how I'm going to apply that. I don't think my spirit can do that. And in some cases, I did it, and I was like, oh, I see. It was that easy. It wasn't hard advice to take. And there was other instances like, dang, I see. I should have listened to the advice. Read on.
As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance, but
because then that's another point. A lot of us will get tired of maintaining things and be like, you know what, I'm going to do it the old way. The old way that wasn't working, but it's comfortable to you. You'll do that and let everything fall. You were ignorant then. Now you understand. Now you choose the stupidity. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1. And Hebrews is going to back up what Peter is saying, because you were ignorant then, doing things and not really understanding. But now you have this gospel telling you, don't go that way because this is going to happen. If you do it like this, this is going to happen. But if you do it like this, you'll get these results. But you're like, I'm good. I know how to do it. I done seen this before. I don't need advice. I don't need to take that advice. What did Paul say in Hebrew 2 and 1?
Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard.
So we have to give the more earnest heed to these things which we have heard, because experienced prophets and saints told us what to do to get right. Read on.
Lest at any time we should let them slip.
Now we making haste in these decisions, and we let the advice that we were given to apply to this situation, we let that slip because we think we know better. Sirach 38 and 24. Sirach chapter 38, 24. And the other thing that we got to learn is constantly be wanting to hear this word, constantly studying to apply what we've learned. Be around studied men to see how they interact with their wives, with their sons, with their daughters, with their friends, with their coworkers, with people that they know in the world. Regular citizens, people of other nations, to say, okay, that's how he dealt with this uncomfortable situation. Read.
Sirach chapter 38 and verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure. And he that hath little business shall become wise.
Read on.
How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the goad, that driveth the oxen, and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of bullocks.
So right here, it's saying that a wise man, he's going to get this wisdom because he has time to do it. He's balancing the time that he studies, the time that he's working. But this type of person, in the next verse, it's talking about you always at work. You never have time to dedicate to learning how to apply the law to your life. Read on.
He that giveth his mind to make furrows and he is diligent to give
Oh, my bad. Jump to 31.
Verse 31. All these trust to their hands.
So it went on to a list of people that have various jobs, like the ones that herd cattle and goats and farm. All these people. It also went into like a smith. All these people work, and that's their conversation. You ever run into brothers that be like, every time you see them, they talking about sports. They talking about what's going on in world that don't pertain to the Bible. And then when you ask them biblical questions, they was like, oh, no, I don't remember that. I don't know that. I don't remember that. Could you explain that? It's like, how long have you been with us? And you know all the Kobe Bryant stats. You remember the day that he died in a plane crash. You know his daughter's name, how old she was. You know from this highlight clip that he did this type of dunk and he was sick in the. Like, how do you know all of these things? But then when you're asked to something that actually gives you life, you done felt like, yeah, I don't know. I thought everybody was supposed to eat the chips. Read 31.
All these trust to their hands, and everyone is wise in his work.
So everyone is good at what they do until it comes to the scripture. Read on.
Without these cannot a city be inhabited.
But it's saying a city can't be inhabited if you don't have workers. Read.
And they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down. They shall not be sought for in public counsel.
So these types of workers, you're not going to be looking for them for judgment and understanding and how to do things, because their mind isn't on keeping the scriptures. Their mind is to maintain their way of life. Read.
Nor sit in the high congregation.
Because you don't have any time for the Most High God. You haven't balanced these things. Read.
They shall not sit on the judgment seat.
Judge's
seat. Nor understand the sentence of judgment. They cannot declare justice and judgment, and they shall not be found where the parables are spoken.
Read on.
But they will maintain the state of the world, and all their desire is in the work of their craft.
These are people that don't have balance between maintaining their life and maintaining their spirit. These type of people, their whole plan is to maintain the state of the world. That's where they're going to stay at, is making sure the rest of the world is advancing. And that's where we've gone here in America. Matthew chapter 26, verse 36. So I brought this last bit to show that Christ put in all these works, and now he's looking at it like, it's done. Everything that I possibly can do, I'm done building. So he's going to pray to the Most High that he don't have to suffer what he knew he had to suffer. But watch what happens to us. Read.
Matthew chapter 26.
And the us, I'm saying, is the prophets. Read.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 36. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt.
So here it is, Christ is praying that he don't have to be put to death in a manner that he's about to be put to death, to suffer all the things that was written that he was supposed to suffer, because he got weak in the flesh. He had a moment to where it's like, okay, I've done all of these things. I've built these men up. And that flesh started to talk. Like he built a family with these men, grooming them up and being around them on a day-to-day basis. So it's like, do I really have to leave them? We've done good. We're building. There's still some more I can do. So if it's your will, don't let me have to go through these things. Read.
Verse 30.
40.
Verse 40. And he will come unto And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What? Could ye not watch with me 1 hour?
So Christ is he upset, like, listen, I just needed you to stay awake for at least 1 hour, but they fell asleep. Read.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
So Christ is having his weak moment, but he's praying that they don't fall into temptation. Read.
He went away again the second time and prayed.
Well, he's telling them that. Read.
Saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy.
So the Most High is showing Christ something, and Christ is about to pick it up. Read.
And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples and saith unto them, Sleep on now, take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand.
So he finally realized what the Most High was telling him, that we were going to go to sleep, and sleep we did until we ended up in this captivity. He was letting them know, like, the work ain't done. It's going to continue, but you've run your course. You've done what you were supposed to do. They are the rest of the Bible, the rest of the Acts, they got to be played out. So Christ understood. He was like, sleep on. Read.
Take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doeth betray me.
So he was saying that Judas is there with the men to come arrest him and take him to prison and betray him. Don't let that be you when Christ come this time, be asleep, or the one that's betraying him when he come back this time, because it ain't going to be peace. So with that is building and maintaining. Lord's will, y'all receive this message. Pray always and apply. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.